there was a point in my life where like I thought I was destined to be a heroin addict. Like that was my place on earth. Like I was destined to be homeless and be a heroin addict, and that's really what I believed. I didn't think there was a way out. I didn't know there was a way out. I didn't know any other way to live. Like this is what it was for me. I think everyone's heard the story before. Like once you're doing pills for a long time, it becomes too expensive, so you move to heroin. And what better place for heroin than Kensington, Philadelphia? You can talk about it all you want, but until you experience it or see it for yourself, I mean, you have no clue what goes on down here. Never in my life did I think I would be in Kensington looking for a bag of heroin. My first experience with drugs was I smoked weed when I was 12 years old. Growing up as a kid, I always had a feeling inside me that there was something wrong. Like I didn't feel right. As much as like on the outside everything was great, like home life was great, family great, like I had a job when I was younger, around 11 years old, like that was great. I didn't sit right with myself. I didn't feel comfortable in my own body. And around the age of 12 I decided to try weed. When I was in high school, I hung out with a lot of kids older than me, and I think they were dabbling in different drugs at the time, so I happened to be with them. And I did a perk 10 for the first time in my life, and I've never felt so free in my life. And throughout all this, I attended LaSalle College High School, which is it's a pretty prestigious high school in the Philadelphia area. I began using Percocets almost every single day about senior year of high school. So everything looked great on the outside, and I was able to get into Penn State University, and that's kind of when things really took a turn for the worst. I ended up joining a fraternity while I was at Penn State. It was a big time party fraternity, so that made my addiction and my disease a whole lot happier. I was drinking heavily every single day. I drank 7 days a week, and I was using a lot of cocaine and a lot of benzos while I was at Penn State. I failed every single class my first semester because I didn't go to class, and I went back for the second semester and I failed out again. I knew at that time that I had a problem. Like that's when my disease took off and I started to like rob, from my family. I took a lot of my mom's jewelry. I found random items in the house, whether it was the attic or the basement. Like I started stealing things. I started pawning things. It got to a point where my parents made the decision to kick me out of the house. And at the time, getting high was more important than having a roof over my head. Like at that point in my life, I was waking up every single day and like I wanted to die. Like I truly wanted to die. Like to wake up every morning, I had to figure out a way to get high again. Like what did I have to do? Who did I have to rob? Like who did I have to manipulate? Who did I have to steal from? Like I couldn't live that way anymore. Like I truly wanted to die. I decided to cold turkey detox on my friend's couch. And I don't know if anyone's ever done heroin, but cold turkey detox, you get a whole lot of withdrawal symptoms. But at the time, it's what I wanted to get sober. Like I said, I had that moment of clarity for that brief period of time where I knew I needed to make a change in my life. I was maintaining sobriety, and I was truly I finally took a step back and decided to work on myself. And my aunt worked at Recovery Centers of America, and I had an opportunity to make a dream become a reality. I got to Recovery Centers of America. It was a brand new company at the time, and I worked in the Mission Center. I was a treatment advisor, and basically what I did was I answered calls that people called the 800 recovery number, and it was my job to get them into treatment. And I didn't look at it as work. It was something I thoroughly enjoyed doing. Like I love going to work every single day because I like the things that I do. Like the Mission Center is where it happens. That's the central hub of RCA. There would be no RCA without the Mission Center. And all the people that I work with, they're either in recovery themselves or they have like a family member or a loved one that's in recovery. Like they've experienced addiction in their lives at some point, whether it's them personally or somebody that they knew. Like people that are just truly willing to help somebody else through a phone call. My life now in sobriety it's free. It's fulfilling. I'm content. I think the greatest thing that I've accomplished is simply self-acceptance. I love myself. I love the person I am. I no longer have to wear a mask. I no longer have to act a certain way for somebody. I can be myself and be happy with myself. When I celebrated a year sober, I was at my parents' house, and my dad was crying. It's one of the only times I've ever seen him cry in his life, and he said I'm proud of you. And like that moment, like it made me feel whole, it made me feel complete, because that's like I think one thing that I've been striving to do for a long time is like, you know, make my mom and dad proud, and I think I've been able to do that.
Would you say you feel like the real you again?
I don't no, I feel like a new me.
Is that a good thing?
It's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. It's all change. It's definitely for the better.